Hello and welcome back to Two Bros in a Pod. We finally reached episode 10. I'm your host, Brennan Olin, alongside my co-host and stepbrother, Wyatt Olson. Wyatt, how you doing?
Oh, just peachy, man. I feel like it's been a long time. Like I feel like the last couple weeks have been like a couple years since we've last talked. So
Yeah,
it
it
felt like
feels
it's been
like
a
it.
while.
Honestly, yeah. It's been about 3 weeks by the time people hear this. So yeah, wanted to let everybody know where we've been. So unfortunately, we had a tragedy in the family. My fiance Julia, her oldest brother, passed away unexpectedly a couple weeks ago. So we had to go back to Wisconsin, and we've been dealing with that. Super unfortunate. Really makes you feel like life's just not fair sometimes. Because I mean, he was just one of those dudes. He's very much like a Ted Lasso type of dude. He's like super optimistic, just larger than life personality, and he's got like the most infectious laugh ever. So the dude, he was just amazing. So it's been really hard couple weeks. Um, I will leave a link in the description with the GoFundMe. He did leave behind 3 kids and his partner, so it's a really, really sad situation. But if anybody out there wants to help out, I will leave that link in the description. So just wanted to let everybody know where we've been. So that's why it's been a couple weeks. But thank you very everybody for all of your support. A lot of people have reached out to me and Julia and the whole family. So really appreciate that. All right, so now we can get on to this podcasting business. A lot of stuff has happened in the last couple weeks. But I recently saw a video of you with some famous people. What have you been up
Yeah.
to?
Awesome. Yeah. It's been kind of a crazy last couple weeks. Actually, before get into that, I went to Syracuse, New York, last weekend, I guess now. Um, for a wedding of my college roommate and his fiance, and they were dating pretty much since I've known them through college. So it was really cool getting to see them again and see people from Niagara again that I haven't seen since I graduated. So that was really cool. Um, but yeah, we had our unveiling of Champions Plaza at Louisiana Tech, where I work, and so out of the whole plaza, there's 6 statues of our alumni that made it to the Hall of Fame in their um, respective careers. So we had Terry Bradshaw, Willie Rofe, and Fred Dean, all football players. And then we had Karl Malone for men's basketball, and then Teresa Witherspoon and Kim Mulkey for women's basketball. And so 5 of them were there. Fred had passed away in 2020, but the rest of the 5 were all there with their families and had kind of a little social, private social beforehand. And then after that, we had more of a public gathering and kind of a question and answer type thing to get to know all of their backgrounds and stories of Louisiana Tech. So that was really cool to hear about that. And Terry Bradshaw had he didn't really even talk about football. He talked about how he kind of walked on in track and field during his time at Louisiana Tech, and talked about how he was a javelin thrower. And so that was really funny. I had no idea about that,
Wow.
but he was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, everyone was great. And part of what I did was kind of just make sure the event went smooth, all that stuff. So I was more of the behind the scenes guy, and one of my jobs that night was taking the clips um, off of the drapes, or the black curtains that we had on the
Covering the
statues.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it was easier for them to take them off, right? And so one of the ones I had to do, it was my boss and I. We were going kind of back and forth and doing every other. And the one I had to do was Carl Malone's, and his is like freaking huge because the dude's tall, and on his statue, it's like got like part of a backboard on there, and so like when you're looking at it from the drapes, it looks like it's like hooks, right? And it was a pain in the butt to like get those drapes over top of it, and also getting them to stay all day because it was a little windy that day, and like Carl's like kept falling off, and so like I ended up having to like just kind of stay out there and watch them to make sure they weren't falling off before everyone got out there to unveil them. And one of the things I used was a wooden stick to. It was like a really tall wooden stick to get it up there, and we kind of had like a oh crap box laying kind of next to the plaza just in case something happens or whatnot. And so Carl's about to unveil his, and he's going through the drapes, and he can't get the one that I ended up struggling to get on there in the first place. He was struggling to get it off, and like he's like yanking on the thing, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I pretty much make a full-on sprint to get the wooden stick and sprint back, and there's like hundreds of people there, and I'm trying to weave through traffic. End up getting the wooden stick there, and helping Carl get the drape off, and that, oh my goodness, and then I got it off, and he's like, my man.
Yeah, I was gonna say Karl Malone's not somebody you want to mess with. He's a pretty intimidating dude. That guy is
very much, yeah,
built,
no, but
and he's really tall.
very,
Yeah,
yes. Oh man, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is in absolute phenomenal shape for being how old he is. It's crazy, but yeah, still someone you don't want to mess with for sure.
Yeah.
And so now, so we ended up getting that off, and then I ended up having a joke with Kim Mulkey before she got her, or was unveiling hers. So that was pretty funny. She was trying to do it before they announced her name, and so I was like, "Oh, hold on 1 second. We'll get there. We'll get it off." And so, but no, it was a lot of fun. It definitely was really cool to embrace that, and how many people showed up. We were originally supposed to do it before football season, but weren't able to do it, and so being that it was a makeup and or having to reschedule that, and still having a lot of people there, it was a really cool experience, and definitely having all those famous people there all at once definitely is like a once in a lifetime thing. So really fortunate and grateful to be there for it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's Louisiana Tech, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's some pretty good alumni there for Louisiana Tech, like that not many people would know. But Terry Bradshaw, I mean, super famous football player. Kim Mulkey, one of the best women's college basketball coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Karl Malone. I'm not as familiar with the rest of them, but man, that's still pretty impressive. Pretty cool to meet those people too in person.
Yep. Yeah. Fred Dean, he was a defensive end.
Okay.
And won a couple Super Bowls with the 49ers in the 70s. So was a big guy then. And then Willie Roaf was an offensive lineman, played a fair amount of years with the Saints. I think he played 13 years. I can't remember. I believe he won a Super Bowl. I can't remember if he did or not, but dude is just big guy, big offensive lineman. So, yeah, he's a freak too. So, yeah, no, definitely was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like you had a pretty
Mhm.
fun time getting to go to a wedding, meeting all these famous people. And meanwhile, me, on the other hand, just to add insult to injury, I got COVID for the third time. Every single time I have to travel and every time I go home, it seems like I end up getting sick. Yeah. COVID for the third time. So that was not
Oh,
fun at all.
no, no. Yeah. All of
Yeah,
a sudden, yeah, I heard, yeah, Brennan's got COVID again. I'm like, again? The third time?
I know.
Uh,
And I feel like the first two times it actually wasn't that bad. It was pretty mild for me. Like it was just kind of the head cold. I did
yeah.
have like all the other symptoms, minus the fever, but this time I got the fever and that sucked. It was only one day, maybe like 1.5 days, but during that day I was just in bed sleeping the whole time. Just I was shivering and then it'd be hot and then oh man, it was torture. But
Yeah. Wow, man.
thankfully that only lasted for like I said, a day and a half, and then after that I started to feel better. But
That's
yeah,
good.
it was tough. It threw a wrench into everything too, because I was obviously there visiting family and just
Right.
being supportive, trying to be around everybody. And then I get
Yeah.
COVID, so I have to avoid everyone. So yeah, it wasn't fun at all.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I've had COVID twice, and I mean both times knocked me out pretty good for a
Yeah.
couple days. I know. Yeah, that stinks.
Did you ever lose your sense of smell or taste? Oh,
Yeah, the
really?
first time was really bad as far as taste and smell, because like the first time I had it was like the week of Thanksgiving, and so
Oh, that's the
like
worst.
it was terrible. And I was at school, so like they put me in the dorm room, like on the quarantine floor, and and people are giving me Thanksgiving plates, and I can't even taste them. I can't.
That
It was like,
sucks.
yeah, it's like one of my favorite holidays,
Same.
and you can't even taste anything. Sucked.
Dang.
And
Yeah, that would
I
be
didn't get it
brutal.
back, and oh yeah, it was. And I didn't get my taste and smell back until like Christmas, so it was a good month.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard some stories from people who still haven't gotten their taste back or their
Yeah.
smell back. There's this one girl I know who ever since she got COVID, soda tastes completely different. Like everything tastes different. And so now she doesn't drink soda anymore. Maybe that should happen to me. That probably help me out a little bit. But yeah, I had like every other symptom except for the loss of um, smell and taste. So I'm kind of happy with that because that would suck.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah, and I mean, for you the first time, that's when everything was a lot more strict back then. Like they were saying,
Yeah.
7 to 10 days isolated in your room. So the first
Yep.
time around
Yep.
was always the worst. My first time, I believe I was living with my parents still, and I was quarantined in the basement, and I still had to work from home. It was like the worst week of my life. But
Yeah.
yeah, apparently there's a resurgence of COVID coming on because there's
Yeah.
been a lot of people. I don't know. I must have gotten it. I'm assuming I got it on the airplane or at the airport on the way home. Um, Otherwise, because
Yeah.
the weird thing is nobody around me got sick. Like Julia was with me the whole time. She never got sick. I was at home with family. None of them got sick. So it's
That's
weird.
insane.
It's confounding. Yeah.
Very, very much so.
But yeah, so since we haven't talked in a while, football has started.
Football has started. We've been like trying to talk about when we're going to talk about football, because we've just been so locked in and ready to go for fantasy football.
Uh-huh.
And now it's week 3.
I know, seriously, it's already week 3. I was gonna say we could go through and like say our fantasy teams, but mine
Yeah.
personally has already changed a lot. Like we're 3
Yes.
weeks in already. But
Yeah. Me too.
have you been watching
Well,
much football lately? I know you're busy during the weekends with your job and watching a lot of college sports, but have you gotten around to NFL games too?
Well, I'll tell you. So week one, um, I didn't watch much football on that Sunday because I believe we had a soccer game that day. But uh, I was ready, rocked, and loaded, locked and loaded
There you go.
for the yeah the I was ready to go for the Bills game on Monday night. I was so ready to see Rodgers suck, and then it was very tragic that he went out with 4 plays into the game. So that was too bad, and I hope he has a speedy recovery, like he says that he's having. But
No
uh,
chance. No chance.
yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
that's
even gonna go there.
crazy. Yeah, crazy
I'm not
pills.
even going to go there because we ended up losing to Zach Wilson, and it
Yeah.
was the absolute worst thing I ever seen in my life. I don't even understand. Like, I keep playing it back in my head too, of seeing that play happen in overtime, and I don't know if you watched it at all or not. But
I watched parts of it, but I did see the punt return, if that's what you're talking about.
oh, very much so, very
Yeah.
much so. Um, so the punt return happens, and at like the 7-yard line, the punter pushes him into the freaking end zone. Basically, the punter didn't even attempt to tackle him. He pushed him, like pushed him forward. Like, here you
Yeah.
go, buddy. Here's a lane. We'll shove you right there.
This just
What
this
the
just
heck?
proves my point. Kickers and punters are not football players, and they should just not be in football. I know the sport is named incorrectly because they're the only people that use their freaking foot, but kickers and punters are not football players. The closest one, maybe Pat McAfee, because he could lay some hits. He's actually an athlete,
Yes,
but yeah,
yes.
kickers and punters, not football players.
I really needed to see Pat McAfee be the punter for the Bills
Yeah,
because he would have taken him down.
yeah,
That guy, oh, killed me. Killed me
yeah,
to see them lose to the Jets week one.
yeah,
That was brutal.
yeah. All right, so I feel like we need to talk about this. You're talking about the Bills. Everybody here that listens probably already knows that you're a weirdo and you
Yeah.
root for weird teams, but the Bills
Yes.
sort of make sense. So, explain, how did you become a Bills fan? You started off as a Packers fan. Is there still some
Yep.
Packers fandom? And yeah, how did you become a Bills fan? And what
Okay,
is wrong with you?
yeah. So so like I said, was in New York for school at Niagara University. So Niagara Falls, Buffalo area. And I feel like because Niagara University didn't have college football or didn't have a football team at the university, that like if you wanted to go to football, you were going 20 minutes down the road to the Bills game. And so like all of the crazy stuff that happens there, like it's the Bills, and
Bills Mafia got to you.
the Bills Mafia got to me, and they are just the most awesome fan base. They just know how to make a party happen. It doesn't matter where they are. It doesn't matter how cold it is. It doesn't even matter what the atmosphere is. They make it happen. And the breaking tables, doing just the goofiest things. It got me. So since then, the first year I watched a Bills game, that's when Rex Ryan was the coach for the 1 year, and they were terrible, but it was a lot of fun. And then the next year I was there, my last year there was Sean McDermott's first year, and so you could see it was starting to get a little better after that Unfortunately, wasn't able to see Josh Allen when I was there. He got drafted the year I graduated. So,
Dang.
But yeah, no. So huge Bills guy. Huge
Yeah.
Bills guy now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. My Bills fandom kind of started afterwards. Obviously, I'm a Packers fan for first and foremost, but basically the last 4 years I've had Josh Allen as my starting quarterback on my fantasy football team, and that has continued this year. So that's kind of how I got into being a Buffalo Bills fan. And let me tell you, Josh Allen is great for fantasy, but those Bills teams remind me so much of the Packers throughout my life. Like, super talented, especially offensively. I feel like the Bills have had a better defense than the Packers had most of the years.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
it's just like the same story with them as the Packers. Great regular season, can't figure it out in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. There's so many similarities, especially like, well, Rodgers and Allen are super different players, but they're both super talented in their own ways. So a lot of similarities there. Allen hyper targets Stephon Diggs just like Rodgers hyper targeted whoever his number one guy was.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just a lot there. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they're going to make a run this year? I personally, I don't think they're that good, but I don't think the AFC is very good this year. Everybody thought the AFC was going to be really good. So, what do you think? What do you think about the Bills?
I think they're going to win their division.
Okay.
I think Miami's really good. They got a very good offense. I don't think their defense is there. That's their...
Oh my God, I'm gonna die.
That's a blooper. That's a blooper,
Too much
everyone.
Attack of the Bubbles. Holy shit.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't think the Dolphins have the defense like the Bills do. I think I thought New England would be a little bit better, but they really haven't shown that they're that good. Like even Ezekiel Elliott as a backup running back, like he's still pretty good in my mind, but he's been playing not so good. Fumbled a couple times. And they still have a decent defense with, of course, Bill Belichick. So
yeah, I think their issue is just going to be offense.
Yeah, but, and then the Jets are they're a lost
unfortunately, unfortunately or not, depending on how you feel about Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, the Jets are kind of screwed.
Yeah, that's probably going to be their only win is game one, of course, to the Bills. But I really could see them going 1-16 now, or 1-17, whatever the heck it is.
I feel like their defense is too good to let that happen, but for that to happen on the fourth play of the season, and then you start to realize, oh crap, Zach Wilson is our quarterback again. Like maybe they would go and just lose every other game.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be a pretty good division as far as the toughness, but I really think Miami's probably the only team that. And I guess thinking about it, when you saying the AFC is not that good, like even the Chiefs don't look that good.
Yeah, that's the weird part. It's the Chiefs and Bengals are like the two that everybody says is supposed to be the top class of the AFC. In Kansas City, they don't have weapons, but it's basically the same team as they had last year, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. I personally don't think they should have won. I think Philly was the better team, and they should feel terrible about losing that game.
Yes,
but I don't think KC's that great, and I also don't think Cincinnati's doing very good either.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Hey, you should know because you got Joe Burrow starting on that fantasy
Joe
team.
Burrow.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the heck's happening over there. I haven't watched any of the Bengals games the last 2 weeks, but it's like,
Yeah.
is there no offensive line? Like, well, what is happening?
I know. And I know Burrow's dealing with some sort of injury, but like Jamar Chase.
Calf.
Yeah. Jamar Chase, like in most fantasy leagues, he's the number 2 wide receiver going off the board. He's done nothing.
Nope.
Yeah, they scored 3 points and Burrow had like 80 passing yards in week 1. So that's surprising.
Well, and you talk about like all the memes now too of like he literally signed the biggest contract and he's the highest paid QB right now, and like 3 or 5 days later he throws 79 yards, no touchdowns, no interception, an interception or whatever, but terrible game.
That's what I mean. Like everybody going into the year, I think had the AFC, which is just loaded with all the good quarterbacks. Everybody said, the AFC is going to be great. NFC looks like crap, but so far through 3 weeks, I feel like it's been the opposite. I think probably the 3 best teams right now in the NFL, in my opinion, would be the Niners, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. So
don't say it. No.
What did I lose you? Cowboys? Dallas?
Take that back. Yep. No. For all the Cowboys fans that I have to hear on a daily basis, you're going way too far. We're 2 games in. All right. I'm not giving up hope on the Bengals, even though they're 0-2. They'll figure it out. The Cowboys, though, you played the Giants week 1. Come on now. You played the Giants. Everyone should shut out the Giants. Come on.
Okay. No,
Who'd they play week 2? Who'd they play?
The Jets. And they just killed the Jets. The Jets were terrible.
Dallas. Come on.
I feel you.
You guys are there. People are saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Dak looks like the best he's ever had. Come on now.
This is what Dallas. This is what Dallas is. Dallas is a good regular season team, and they never win in the playoffs. That's what they are. So, and that's
they're not
what
even a good. No,
and that's what I still
good regular
think
season
they're going to do. Yeah, I mean, but they've won the division a bunch in the last however many years. I know that division's usually trash, but
yes, the most overrated division in any sport there is.
Yeah,
is that division.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. They're always like, the winner's always like 1 game over 500. They're always bad. But yeah, I think it's those 3 teams in the NFC, and then the rest of the NFC kind of sucks or is just very average. They're all pretty similar. And then, yeah.
I want to say, after week 1 of football, like just in general across the board, like it was terrible football. I think the Chargers and the Dolphins game was probably the most intriguing game to watch. All of the other games were terrible.
I know.
Just brutal.
I mean, it's probably because none of these teams play during the preseason. They just rest their guys and then come into week 1, no practice at all. I think that's what's happening with the Bengals. I mean, it makes no sense that Joe Burrow, with all those weapons, would only throw for 82 yards in week 1. Like, it's got to be the and not playing preseason, being rusty.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe, but it's like at the same time too, he's got all of his weapons that he had back from last year. It's not like he's got a turnover of wide receivers that he's still got Chase, he's still got Higgins, still got whoever I'm missing. I know
they should be way better than what they are right now. But yeah, I don't know. I think based on what I've seen, my pick right now, if I had to just randomly pick who I think would win, I would say I think out of the AFC, I think the Dolphins are gonna make it out. I think they're fun to watch. I love watching Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle. So fast.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they definitely have the best offense in the league. And then out of the NFC, I still think it's going to be the Niners, which is crazy because, like,
Yeah.
Brock Purdy is their quarterback. But, I mean, the Niners over the years have proven it doesn't matter who their quarterback is, they're always going to be good.
Yeah. I mean,
So that's
I like
mine.
Brock Purdy. I like
Yeah.
Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's good.
I think
But
I think what the Niners do is a lot what the Packers are trying to do with Jordan Love. I watched the whole game last night. The Niners destroyed the Giants, and I actually don't think the Giants played bad. Like, I think their defense was decent. They just couldn't get off the field. I just think the Niners are really good. I don't know. Packers always get murdered by the Niners, so
yeah,
maybe that
that
plays
is
into my bias. It's like every time we play the Niners, we get our butts kicked, but
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean they're always a pretty solid team. Like, you know, they know how to put together a team and win games. So
Yeah.
I get it. They're just not a flashy team like like not New York, but Philadelphia. Like the Eagles are a flashy team.
Yeah.
Like they've got the big weapons and whatnot. And the
Mhm.
49ers are more of that team that just gets it done
Yeah.
collectively.
They seem like the tougher team in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Eagles are also really good. It's got to be one of those two teams. I don't see anybody else
Yeah.
beating those guys. But
Mhm.
before I forget, how does it feel to be a Bills fan now that Josh Allen is dating the love of your life, Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah, you had to bring it up. You had to bring it up.
Salt in the wound, huh?
I will tell you, my initial reaction was yes, I'm excited. But then after like a millisecond of that, I was like, dang it. I'm never gonna get my shot with Haley Steinfeld after Josh Allen. Like there's no
Yeah.
shot.
I don't know
So
if he's throwing interceptions like he was in week 1. You never know. You never know.
So yeah, when I was in Syracuse, people were talking about Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld, and they're like, "Oh, now he's with the girl. He can't play football now. He's doing terrible because he's not paying attention to football." And da 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 da. It's like, oh my gosh,
See,
come on.
this is another Bills Packers connection. Rodgers, it was always about his girlfriend. Every single time. Every time Rodgers had a new girlfriend, it's like, oh great, here we go again. As soon as they'd break up, MVP, MVP.
He's just fine. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Haley's a good girl. She's got her own career and doing her own thing. All right. They'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. I'm rooting for the Bills, but I feel like I've had a renewed excitement for football again this year, and especially for the Packers. Like, now that Rodgers is gone, which is weird because basically his whole career, I was a big Rodgers guy and I defended him. I feel like the organization wronged him a lot. Like, they never put a defense around him that would help them win, and he had to do a lot of it on his own. But then the last few years of Rodgers, just the constant drama and all the weird stuff he was saying, and then just generally, he was a bad teammate to a lot of people. He was loyal to his guys, like Randall Cobb, Mercedes Lewis, all the old guys. He even brought them with to New York. But like, anytime it was a young guy, he wanted nothing really to do with them. Like, when you're that good, I feel like he just expects greatness right away. And I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. So now that he's gone, I'm actually pretty excited to watch the Packers again.
Yeah. See, I was not always the biggest Rodgers guy. In fact, I was rooting for the Jets and the Vikings when Favre was there. So
You savage.
Yeah. So like I rooted for the Jets because it's the Jets.
Yeah.
Even if they have Favre, they were still 8-8. But but yeah, the first year Favre was with the Vikings, I was cheering for the Vikings, low key. The second year he was with the Vikings, I was like, okay, it might be time to retire, my guy. It might be time to retire.
Yeah.
But like, and then I ended up going back to being a Packers fan. So I hope
No,
this
no, no, no,
doesn't.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
I
no,
know.
no. This
I
is a
feel like
cardinal
everyone
sin.
that.
Yeah. You just can't say I was a Vikings fan while Favre was no. It does not work like that, bro.
No. I wasn't. I didn't say I was a Vikings fan. I said I rooted for them because of Favre. See, there's a
Same
very
thing.
big difference. No. There's a very big difference. I hope people that are listening to this aren't, gonna like take away, that I can't make a decision in my life because I can, and I'm not a bandwagon guy. All right, I don't.
I'll give you that.
I don't.
Sort of.
All right. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I enjoy sports, and I enjoy some guys here and there, and maybe a little bit everywhere. So
Pause.
don't. Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with it. All right, just I
Yeah,
still got good things to say. I still
I
got good
feel
things to say.
I feel like you're acting like one of these LeBron fans who just whatever team he goes to, oh, I'm a Laker fan now. I'm a Heat fan now.
That's
I'm a
fair.
Cavs
That's fair.
fan. Yeah.
I was like that for Favre, and that's
Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
So and sue me.
Yeah, Favre had his supporters. There were a lot of them, especially the beginning years of Rodgers. There was a lot of people who were still Team Favre, but you'd never catch me
Right.
rooting for the Vikings. So I'd have to say
It was for Favre.
I'd have to say you are a Bills fan first and foremost.
Yeah.
Packers fandom, you're gonna have to earn that. You can't be trusted.
No. Going back to what you were saying about the Packers, I am excited to see a little bit more of love, like especially the first game against the Bears. Like Bears again, overhyped as per the usual,
Yep.
and Fields may not be the guy, but whatever. But Love definitely put it down week 1. And then week 2, I don't know. The Falcons, all that, but I didn't watch any of the games, so I don't know. But
yeah. I saw bits and pieces of the first game, and from what I saw, like he was okay. I think the Bears are just like the worst team of all time. Like they're so bad. I was watching that game, and every single play, Justin Fields was throwing a quick screen pass, and they were getting 0 yards. They were just getting blown up in the backfield. And then, not only are the Bears bad, they're freaking stupid. Like they were down by 20 plus points with a minute left, and Justin Fields was still in the game. It's like, what are you guys doing? You're just so stupid. And since then, nothing but bad things have happened to the Bears. They're just proving how stupid they are. But yeah, I think in week 2, Love played really well. Our defense is just terrible. And ever since they hired Joe Barry, he's been garbage. He was garbage from the moment they hired him, and he's still garbage. The Falcons literally don't even throw the football. They ran it straight down our gut every single play, and they still beat us. It was like the week 2 loss was actually like really, really bad. Like it was a really bad loss. It's not a big deal because it's only week 2 and Jordan Love's second game of his career. And he did play well, but like that was a really bad loss. But I think it was more on the defense. Yeah, I feel like the Packers might have done it again. Like they got lucky. They got Favre. They got Rodgers. This is only the 3rd starting quarterback. Well, I think it might be the 3rd or 4th in either of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
And It looks like so far Jordan Love might have it. Like seems pretty confident. I do think Matt LaFleur is a good coach, and he's been able to like what we're doing right now is pretty impressive considering we're the youngest team in the league, and our top wide receiver weapon was out with an injury, and Aaron Jones, who I think is a top 5 running back in the league, he was out with an injury again in week 2. So I think it's been a pretty impressive start. I'm pretty excited going forward. I feel like we got a pretty good young squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to convert you back into a Packer fan.
No. No, definitely not. Definitely will be a Bills fan for a while.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
But no, I think I'm excited for Love. Yeah, I hope he does well and continues the Packer legacy of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
because it's crazy. I mean, Favre was there for a while, Rodgers was there for a while, so it'd be really cool to see Love there for a while as well.
Yeah, and it's always good that the ownership of the Bears is still in place. I just can't imagine being a Bears fan. Like, that'd be so depressing.
No.
They were talking so much crap all off season.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna win this game. This is when it all ends. They don't have Rodgers anymore, and
Right.
they got absolutely
throttled.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah,
absolute beatdown.
It wasn't even close. Even close.
And it should have been, because I don't think the Packers are that great of a team. I think they're definitely a well-coached, decent team, not necessarily a good defensive team, but they killed the Bears. It just shows how bad the Bears are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one team though that I think might have a shot, not at Super Bowl, but at the division is the Lions. Like, Dan Campbell knows how to get some things done for sure.
He's a beast too.
They look pretty good. Yes.
Yeah.
The Lions makes me laugh.
Yes, he's so funny. The Lions, I've never hated them like I do the Bears and the Vikings, because the Lions are just the Lions. Like, they're kind of like the Jets of the NFC. They're bad.
Yes.
They've always been bad, But they do have a good team, and Dan Campbell's a good coach. Have you seen, back when they did Hard Knocks, all of those were really funny. Like, he'd join the team and doing up downs, and he's talking about what he orders for coffee. Did you hear that part?
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, that dude is a maniac.
That's all he drinks is coffee.
Yeah. I don't know how it works. I'm not a coffee drinker, but apparently he goes to Starbucks and he orders 2, I think, of the biggest size coffee and gets like double espresso shots or something.
Yes. In all of them, yep.
Yeah. So this guy, he needs to calm that down. That's not healthy, but he's definitely getting the best out of the Lions. So that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw something on social media. I think it was yesterday. He, I guess they were, I can't remember. I guess they were playing Seattle this last weekend. Yeah. And him and Pete Carroll chatted before the game. And he said to him, let's screw this game and you and me, mano a mano, battle it out. And Pete was like, I guess Pete said to him, good luck today, Dan. And he's like, so we played football. We played the football game like idiots or something like that. He said we played the football game like cowards.
Yeah. I don't blame you, Pete.
I love it. He's a good dude.
Yeah, so let's see. I kind of showed you this. I'll just show everybody. I've been having fun with it, just like writing down the matchups and guessing who I think is going to be favored by how many points.
Brennan's picks.
Picking them. Y'all can see I'm putting work in putting some work in.
He's been doing well.
Yeah.
He sent me the screenshots.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. I mean, I'm not actually betting anything because I'm broke and I can't. So, but it's fun to just pick the game, see how good I'm doing so far. Just picking the winners. I am 20-12, which isn't that great, but if I was actually picking based
That's
off
pretty
like
good.
bets, I'd be 5-1. I've done like 3 each week. So, yeah, pretty fun. Makes the NFL season a little more entertaining for me.
Well, yeah, of course. You said that you don't make your picks until Saturday night.
No, like Sunday night after all the games. That's when I do the picks for the next week. Cause
you did. Oh, so you got them already?
yeah. So
Okay.
I got all the Wednesday or the week 3 picks done. But
Gotcha.
that's the reason I'm doing it is the Bill Simmons podcast. That's what they do every Sunday night. They record and they talk about the games that day, and then they guess the lines for the next week. And that podcast airs on Monday. So I'm just doing it to kind of like play along with them.
Yeah.
They make a game out of it and see who's closer when they're picking the lines. And then so that's how I guess all the lines on Sunday night. And then on Monday, when I listen to the podcast, I can hear what the actual line is and see how close I was. But
okay, yeah. So is there a? Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Is there a game this weekend that was a tough one for you to pick? Of like you were kind of going back and forth. Did a coin flip for?
Let's see. What's the toughest one here? Ooh, I think one of the best games is probably going to be the Chargers and the Vikings because they're both 0-2 and they're both high-powered offenses. Both need to win. I think that's probably the toughest one because you could see that going either way. They're like identical of each other, I swear. They're the Chargers and Vikings. They're both always good at offense, and then or at least for the last few years, and they just underperform every year, or they get really lucky and then flame out in the playoffs like the Vikings did last year. But
yeah, who you got winning?
I got the Vikings winning. Okay. They're at home. I think that's the main reason. But I wouldn't be surprised either way. That's going to be a close game.
What's your upset pick?
Upset pick? Let's see.
If you got one.
I wanted to say the Bears would beat the Chiefs, but I couldn't do it because the freaking Bears.
Right. Absolutely.
Upset, I guess you could call it an upset. I mean, the Bengals are 0-2, aren't they? But yeah,
0-2.
Bengals are 0-2, but I picked the Rams to beat them. That's the Monday night game. Rams beat them in Cincinnati. So,
okay.
I guess it's an upset, even though the Rams have been playing pretty well, but the Rams were expected to be terrible this year. So,
yeah.
I guess I'd say that one.
What's your no-brainer pick? Everyone should be picking it.
No-brainer pick. Yeah, what Siri said. Let's see here. Oh, no-brainer. You're probably going to hate this, but I'd say Dallas over Arizona. Yeah.
I mean, Arizona, I don't know if that's a no-brainer pick, but Arizona does suck.
Arizona sucks. They've been playing decent, but I think they throw games on purpose because they want to get that number 1 pick.
But, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would say Dallas.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, how you doing on fantasy so far?
I don't even want to talk about last week. I lost by 0.8 points. I lost by 0.8 to my brother's girlfriend.
Oh yes, that's right. In the lowest scoring
Yes,
matchup of the week.
yes, Kayla beat me. Yeah, well, Joe Burrow got me a whopping 3 points, so that was
Yep.
nice. And then Deshaun Watson wanted to follow it up with another whopping 7 points because he fumbled the ball twice and had like 2 interceptions. So
You know
that was
what?
perfect.
This
Icing on the
this is
cake.
just this is what you get for taking that horrible human being, Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry, but like,
Yeah, no,
you know,
it's
no.
valid.
So
It's valid.
you're 1-1. I'm also
I'm
one
1
and
and 1. I
one.
should be 2 and 0.
Yeah. Last week I got my butt kicked by Eric Lefebvre. His team just
Dude,
dominated though. I mean, he put up
his team,
139. Like,
yeah.
not much I could do.
Yeah, no, his team. I think his team's the best team in the league.
Yeah, he's 2-0
I
right
think his is the
now.
best.
Trenton is 2-0 right now, but he has Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb just got his knee absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that was wild. Also, he's
Did you-
going to get, for Trenton listening to this, he's going to get waxed this weekend. Going to get absolutely waxed by me.
Yeah, okay. We'll
Get
see.
ready.
We'll see.
I might be down by 20 but right now, but that's okay. We got a long weekend ahead.
Yeah, he had McCaffrey, who's good for 20
Yeah,
points every week, so nothing new there. But he
Right.
lost Nick Chubb, and he lost Anthony Richardson. His quarterback, I think, is out this week too.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, did you see that slow-mo of Nick Chubb?
I did.
The injury? Oh my god.
Terrible.
That was absolutely disgusting.
Terrible. Yes.
I feel like I have a lot of sympathy for him because I've messed up my knee a bunch of times, but that's like a whole nother level. Like, you could see it. I think like that was probably like a complete dislocation and
Yeah.
tore all the ligaments, I feel like, which he's already done in college, I believe. So second time he's had to go through this. That
terrible.
sucks.
Speaking of injuries, I don't know if you've heard of like and with Rodgers' injury too. Like, speaking of the Players Association talking about having all fields go to grass fields instead of artificial turf. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, every player seems to be in agreement that turf sucks. So I'm all for it. I mean, I don't care. But yeah, they all seem to be aligned with each other and that turf sucks and it's harder on your body. I haven't played on turf. You did a little bit for baseball, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Baseball's different though. You're not cutting as much like football.
Yeah.
You're constantly cutting. It's probably a lot harder on your ligament, your joints.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that. I think, like, from my job now and learning more about turf through the industry, like, I feel like everyone doesn't understand what turf is now. Like, it's not what it was 10 years ago, where it's just like artificial grass and rubber pellets. Like, people are like, they're putting sand in there. Like, they're doing a bunch of different things with turf now. That's like, you want to go back to grass. And like, I know money doesn't matter with NFL as far as upkeep goes and all that stuff, but it's like, you have a snowy game or a rainy game, like, it's just going to be a terrible game to watch, and people are going to still get injured.
Yeah.
And like the Rodgers injury, I don't think that would have, like, watching how he got injured, that it wouldn't have mattered if it was grass or turf.
That had nothing to do with the field being turf. Nothing.
No.
Yeah. I don't really care either way, but yeah, like Rodgers, when he went down and people started talking about turf again, it's like, come on, that one had literally nothing to do with it. That's just how people tear their Achilles. Like, he was pushing off as he was getting tackled. You could see it. Had nothing to do with the field. But yeah, I don't know. Isn't it just, I think it's just in New York where they have the turf. I think most of them have converted to grass, but I guess
Is
I'm
that
not.
right?
Yeah, I guess I'm not totally sure yet, but I know for
I
sure
think
New
the
York.
Bills. I think Buffalo's turf as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just wouldn't play football. You got to be a
Yeah.
special kind of crazy to play football. These
Right.
hits are, I mean, they've tried to make the game safer too, and it still doesn't matter. I mean, like the Nick Chubb thing, you're such a tank that people
Mhm.
can't tackle you up high, so they're going to go down low, and wrong
Right.
place, wrong time, your knee's gone. So that, and that's not even as bad as like all the head injuries and stuff. So I
Right.
don't know.
Oh yeah.
If you had a kid, are you letting them play football?
Well, I feel like I've noticed more maybe it's just smaller towns that aren't down south, but like up north, I feel like cities or towns are doing flag football
Yep, longer.
more like longer before high school and then getting more into football. Obviously Texas is its own thing. They're putting kids in pads right when they are born, but
Yeah,
um I don't know. I would, if they wanted to. I'm not going to go out of my way and be like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm a football dad, but
yeah. I
I mean,
feel
if
you.
they wanted to do it, I'd do it.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be okay with it. And then once they get that, like if they ever got that first concussion, then it's like, all right, now you got to start thinking about this. If they're
Yeah.
any good, then it might change some things. But like if they're just
Yeah.
an average kid just playing high school football and they're getting concussions, or like I remember in high school, every Monday, people come to school on crutches. Like this kid broke his leg, this other guy broke
Oh
his
yeah.
collarbone. Like it's
I
just,
was one of them.
yeah. What did you do? I can't remember. I remember you had
I
a really
had
bad like quad injury,
it,
right?
yeah, quad contusion. Yeah,
Yeah.
a deep bone bruise.
Ugh,
Yeah.
and that would hurt so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. I played football once, 1 year. I was in fourth grade, I believe. I played in a little JYF football. I was on
Yep.
the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah.
I was the smallest kid on the team, and what they did was put me at safety because in JYF in fourth grade, nobody's passing the ball. So just put me as far away from the action as possible. My
Yep.
one play on offense, I was a wide receiver. Once again, they're not running or they're not passing the ball anyway, but we did have one play for me, and all I did was go in motion and run to the other side of the field, and then they snapped the ball, threw it to me, and I ran for a touchdown. That's my one accomplishment in football. And then I was like, yeah, this sucks. I hate tackling people. I'm the smallest person on the field. I'm never doing this again.
JYF football. Those were the days.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
It
I
was
think.
it
No,
was
go ahead.
cool. Yeah, I was just gonna say it was cool having like all the college football teams and you get their jersey. I think that part was pretty cool.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, fifth grade for me was because I started JYF when I was in fifth grade. I
Yeah.
was with the Florida Gators, and
Yep.
I was one of the bigger kids, so I was playing tight end. And then I ended up in middle school playing for the Detroit Lions.
I remember that. I remember going to games when you were on the Lions because
Yeah,
our buddy Zach Brandenburg, was he on the Lions or no? He was Raiders or something,
no,
wasn't he?
yeah.
Was he
What
Raiders?
was
I can't
he?
remember, but
Yeah, he wasn't on my team. Yeah, what
I just
team
remember
was he
going to
on?
a game where you guys were playing against each other. It's like
Yeah.
a memory logged away back in my brain. But
Yep. Yeah, the first year with the Lions sucked because I was I don't remember if I was because they do weight classes for like if you're under 105 pounds, like you can play with the ball, but if you're over it, you got to play on the line, whatever.
Yeah, gotta be a lineman.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I was at that threshold or not when I was in 6th grade, but I ended up playing offensive line and it sucked. But
Yeah,
my
that would suck.
7th grade year, I was under the threshold and I played running back, and that was my best year. That was my favorite year. That was my absolute favorite.
I wanted so badly. They'd let me play running back every once in a while, but those would be like the one plays where it's like a designed quarterback run or I was so pissed. I just wanted one handoff, but they were doing me a favor. I was I was the smallest kid out there. So, yeah. Football. Fun stuff. Yeah.
Total football.
Yeah, total football. All right. So, next, we're going to take a break quick, but then we got a fun segment to end it off.
That's right.
All right. So, we're back. This week, we're not doing a top 5, but considering we're talking about football, talking about sports a lot, we're going to do our Mount Rushmore of our top favorite athletes. It doesn't mean it's like the best athletes or whatever. It's just your personal Mount Rushmore, your top 4 favorite athletes. You got your list? We were both kind of struggling with this.
We were really struggling with this. This was also a last second decision on this, but it felt like it could tie a little more into the episode talking about the Champions Plaza and football and whatnot. So, yeah, here we go.
We don't have to go in order or anything, but you lead us off. Give me one of your top 4 on your Mount Rushmore.
So, no surprise. Not my number one, but the one I put on first is Josh Allen.
Okay. I like that pick.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I am expecting some Red Sox because I know you were a big Red Sox fan growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess there's probably not a basketball player. I bet you, I'm going to guess you have at least 2 baseball players. You got Josh Allen, and then you got one more surprise one. Okay, I like that pick though.
Yeah.
My first person, if I was ranking them, this guy's number 1 and will always be number 1. And I don't even feel like it's that crazy for me to say that. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yep.
He's my number 1.
Good pick.
For sure. Huge Bucks fan. Followed him his entire career. I mean, I feel like I grew up with him. It's just...
Yeah. You did.
Yeah.
You did.
And I'll never...
Big Giannis guy.
Yeah. Enough said about that one. That was the easiest pick for me. Got much more difficult after this.
Yes.
So number 2 for you.
My second one that I had, Red Sox, I figured we'll just go with it, was David Ortiz, Big Papi.
Big Papi. That's the one I thought for sure was going to be on your list.
Absolute all-time favorite Red Sox. Loved watching him as a kid growing up. And the other 2 that I have are, I was trying to think of more as a kid growing up watching them.
Yeah.
So that's who the first one that popped in my mind was Big Papi. Dude was a stud.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know already, you're probably sensing it by now. Wyatt's a weirdo. He doesn't care about Wisconsin teams. He's a Wisconsin, he's a Boston guy.
Bucks.
I know.
I like the Bucks.
Just, you're just weird. Grew up a Red Sox fan, and I just never forgave you for it. So
no one did.
All right. So following with the theme of my favorite team, the Milwaukee Bucks, my number 2 is Brandon Jennings.
I should have known he was going to be on your list. Should have
Yeah.
known.
I was a huge Brandon Jennings fan. I still, when he first came into the league, his rookie year, I remember you were at home. I was watching the Bucks. I
Yep.
believe it was the 7th game of his career. Drops 55 points on the
Yep.
Warriors, Steph Curry. And I remember watching it on my tiny little TV in my room. I'm pretty sure you were in the living room. I come running out. Dude, you guys see this? I was probably losing my mind. But yeah, Brandon
Yep.
Jennings, always been one of my favorites. Number 2 on
Yeah,
mine.
I feel like for you, like you were always a Bucks fan, but I feel
Yeah.
like when Brandon Jennings got picked, you were like even just a deeper love for the Bucks.
Yeah, because before that, I would have been too young. But
Yeah.
so once Jennings got there, that was like prime. I was in my prime Bucks fandom. I was
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So your third pick.
So this one's a little off the wall, but
Okay.
thought about it, on our football theme. A guy that was just always flying around, and that is Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Why Darren Sproles? I mean, he was an awesome player. He's short. I love
Yes.
that. I love watching the short
Yeah.
guys be good at what they do.
Yes.
And he was electric. But yeah, why Darren Sproles?
Yeah, I loved watching him play. He played for a few different teams, so it's not like he was locked in on one. But
Yeah.
like, he just flew around. He's just flying. He's a speedy guy, special teams guy. I love that.
Off the radar. Definitely would not
Off
have
the radar.
Definitely would
Yeah.
not have thought that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, also this was a last minute list, but and his name popped into my head like almost immediately.
You're
I
gonna
don't
look back.
know.
You're gonna look back at this like next week and be like, why the hell did I pick Darren Sproles?
No, I feel like he's a valid one to have. Like he was definitely one of the top guys that I enjoyed watching as a kid.
Okay.
But
Makes sense.
I'm sure
too.
that there's a yeah.
It makes sense because he was big like when we were growing up too.
Yeah. I feel like I'm probably missing a bunch of others because this was last minute, but that's okay.
Yeah. So my number 3, sticking with the Bucks again, Michael Redd. Oh my God. Michael Redd.
Yeah.
So he was my first ever player that I fell in love with on the Bucks because he was before Jennings. He was there a tiny bit when Jennings was there, but that was towards the end of his career. So Michael Redd, got to be on my list. I used to go out in the driveway and play basketball. Michael Redd was a lefty, and he had this crazy shot where he really flung it over his head. And even though I'm right-handed, I'd go out in the driveway and practice shooting lefty like Michael Redd. Just a pure 3-point shooter. Oh, he was my favorite. That's when I fell in love with the Bucks, was Michael Redd. And then got a little older. That's when Jennings came along. And boom, now we got Giannis. So yeah, 3 of my top 4 Milwaukee Bucks players.
Yep. I like it.
All right, who's the last one? Round out your Mount Rushmore.
To round out my Mount Rushmore, I think this might be a surprise for you. Milwaukee guy, just not the Bucks.
Okay.
But the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Prince Fielder.
Ooh. Okay. I wasn't sure where you were going there. I wasn't sure if you were going to go Brawny or Fielder.
No, Braun was definitely up there, but definitely being a liar, all that stuff that,
Yeah. Kind of tainted it for you.
Yeah. If he was telling the truth, then it would have been a different story. But Prince Fielder was a guy, the 2 career inside the park home runs. That was awesome for how big he was.
Prince
he just had
electric.
fun.
Yeah,
He was a good time.
hefty boy, and he hit some bombs. I loved Prince.
Yes. Yeah.
I almost picked him. Honestly, I didn't even really pick a fourth. I have 2 people listed,
Okay.
but I don't.
So
I
you're
don't
the
feel,
cheater.
Yeah, I guess you call me cheater this time, but
Cheater.
I don't feel strongly about either of these guys. I feel like my list is really just a top 3. It's the 3 Bucks guys for me. But if I had to pick a fourth one for my childhood growing up, it would be between Ryan Braun and Aaron Rodgers. And
Okay.
I'm very I don't know. I just can't figure out what to do there because, like you said, Braun, he was got caught for steroids, and Prince was always the more fun guy anyway. Like, he was just cooler.
Yeah.
But Braun was there forever. Whole career in Milwaukee, so he was kind of a staple. And then Rodgers, same thing. Been in my life for 20 years. Great quarterback.
Yep.
Everything was fine until a few years ago, and he just I'm just like completely out now. He's just really, it did a complete 180 for me. So it's one of those 2 guys, I guess, because for most of my life I did really like them, but now I couldn't really care less. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You have any honorable mentions?
I didn't this time. I normally am the guy that has those, but
yeah,
not today.
Hard enough to come up with 4 on short notice.
It was.
But I did come up with a couple. They wouldn't be on my Mount Rushmore, but other guys, random guys that I've loved. Number 1, Brook Lopez. He's probably the best Bucks center that I've seen in my lifetime. Obviously, I didn't see Kareem. That was way back then, way back in the 70s. Bogut was the best guy before Brook, and Brook is just way better. And he's a Disney guy. Super fun dude. And then the other one, Carlos Gomez.
Yeah.
I loved Carlos Gomez. Yeah. Go.
Man.
He was crazy. I remember, and he, like, to begin his career, he was like really bad. And then he had those, I think it was like 2 years with the Brewers where he was like MVP race. He was dominating.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was electric. I always loved Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, he'd fly around the bases after hitting a home run too.
Yep. Super fast.
I don't know if he ever pimped it. He just flew around the bases.
He was always doing something. Most of my favorite baseball players are usually center fielders, I've noticed, just because they're usually the fastest. Got to cover a lot of ground out there. And to be an outfielder in the MLB, you got to be a good hitter. So most of them are really good hitters too. Yeah. Gomez was my dude.
Yeah, that's a good one. He didn't end his career well, but he definitely had those years with the Brewers.
A couple really good years, yeah. So, quick recap. My Mount Rushmore would be Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brandon Jennings, Michael Redd, and I guess you just got to do, if it's a Mount Rushmore, it'd be like half of a face of Ryan Braun, half of a face of Aaron Rodgers.
Perfect. And mine is Josh Allen, David Ortiz, Darren Sproles, and Prince Fielder.
Okay. Dope. Thanks, everybody, for listening. It's been a while. Thanks for sticking around. We'll try to be back again next week, but that wraps it up for us. Make sure to go.
Episode 10.
Episode 10. It's a milestone.
10.
But yeah.
Love it.
Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Apple. We're on YouTube, Spotify. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. And make sure to check out that GoFundMe link down below too. It'll be in there. If you're willing and able to, you can always donate there. That'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, Wyatt, good to see you. It's been forever. hopefully,
Absolutely.
hopefully we'll be back again next week.
Sure will.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Take it easy, Mountain Faith.